Well, hello there, and welcome back to Armored Warfare. I'm Corny Swiss, and today I'm driving around two tanks in this video. I have two replays because they're both kind of short. But we're going to start off by saying that this weekend I'm going to be away. I'm going on a trip with my friends for fall break, and I'm not going to be around computer. This is the same trip I went on last year at this time, where we don't have cell service. Last year we didn't have any internet either, and we were just kind of out in the woods in a cabin doing outdoorsy things. Now this time there's Wi-Fi there, but I don't plan on using it. So I'm going to be off the grid again. It's really nice to get off the grid. So that's happening. I also found out today my roommates got into med school. Like, that's pretty dope. You know, dude works harder than anyone else, and he did it. So gonna have to celebrate that, and now we both know what we're doing after school, so it's great for him. Now to the gameplay. Oh, actually, before we talk about that, in terms of War Thunder, I've been reading the patch notes. I've been trying to do the dev server. I have it downloaded, but I haven't gotten on it yet. I guess it hasn't been open. It probably will come open while I'm gone, because that's usually how these things work. But I am really trying to get footage for that. I think when the patch goes live will be when I stream, and also according to the great detectives of Reddit, looks like we're going to get the E100. Probably not in this patch, but someday. That's pretty cool. So, all that being said, let's talk about the gameplay now. So, I'm in the Expeditionary tank. It's a tank destroyer, and as you can see, and the difference between tank destroyers in World of Tanks and Armored Warfare is that they generally have rapid-firing guns that don't do a lot of damage, but really kind of over time bring the pain. They have really high DPM. Now, this little fox is doing some goofy stuff. He's coming through here using his speed to spot us all, and it's very hard to hit him. See, you can't. It's very difficult to hit them on the move. Now, as a tank destroyer, my role here is I want the main battle tanks to try and take some hits, and then I'll sneak around and try and poke out shots and damage the enemy. Because I don't have the armor to take the hits, but what I do have is kind of the DPM, and if we get the game to a point where HP is all that matters, then we'll be able to get the job done. I take a little bit more of an aggressive push here, and the reason is I want to get this T-72. Now he puts a shell into me, artillery comes in, doesn't do a lot of damage, but that guy's tracked, so I finish him off. That's the advantage. If you can get multiple shots off, the tank destroyers just will raw out DPM main battle tanks. Now I'm trying to be a very flex support here. I'm trying to support these main battle tanks that are trying to hold these corners, because obviously that was a poorly aimed shot. I should have gone for the lower plate, but I'm going to reload with plenty of time to get another shot into him and kill him. Now this fox is still making all these runs, and I tried to lead him, but obviously he turned. It becomes very difficult to hit things when they're turning, but I'm gonna lead him plenty. Got him. That was a big kill, because he's been scouting us this whole time, and now you can see that we're slowly breaking through, and at this point I have 695 health. I have plenty of health to take one hit from this guy. Now initially I don't really want to. He's tracked. Alright, I realize he's tracked, and I immediately say, okay, time to go. Let's get after him. Pause, take the hit. I know I'm going to take that hit, so that's not really a problem. And by taking that hit, now I'm going to allow myself to just rush this guy, get along his side, and crank him. Now, I kept going because I knew there was a Starship over there. He wasn't looking at me anyway, but that was just a horrible shot. I very easily could have gotten the kill on that guy. Now it's just artillery. That's the real difference between Armored Warfare and War Thunder, per se, is that the games are very fast-paced, even when you don't want them to be. That whole time, I was trying to be that flex gun, and I feel like a tank destroyer at close range, that's your role. You need to use your speed to get back and forth between positions, so that you can pump out DPM where it's needed. Main battle tanks need to hold the line. You know, they got to take hits because I don't have the armor to have a hope of bouncing a shot. But the main battle tanks have the armor. They can hope to bounce a shot. Tank destroyers, no. So in armored warfare, it's very important to have some situational awareness, have some awareness of what you can and can't do. Like what position, like pushing up on the T-72 was debatable, but I knew that I had enough health that I could put 2 shots into him and back up if everything went according to plan. So let's move on to the next replay, shall we? So here we are in the M60A2 Starship. It's a pretty goofy looking tank, really. You think of an M60 that they gave it a goofy looking turret and slapped a 152mm gun on it. And the gun fires heat, HE, and missiles. Well, like kind of those guided rockets. So, should be a ball of fun. In my experience, I personally don't like the Starship that much. And the reason is that I think the kind of derpy guns, when everyone moves so quickly, it's difficult to land the shots. In World of Tanks, War Thunder, tanks I think generally don't move as quickly. You know, there's more stopping, there's less high-speed antics. Whereas in this game, just about every tank can move pretty quickly. Accuracy becomes a little bit more of a problem. So that kind of goes against the Starship in a way. Also, the Starship really doesn't do well when it's bottom tier. You know, there's some tanks that can still get the job done, but the Starship just, when you start seeing, you know, some rank 5s and rank 6 tanks that have that ER armor, the kind that really doesn't like that really defends against heat, you run into some serious problems because the real punch in this gun is from the heat. And see, there's another star. That's an M60, I think. But luckily his shot bounced. It probably went into my turret, and I got a lucky pen on his hull. But the Starship does do monstrous amounts of damage when it hits. The heat routinely does about 500, and maybe a little more, sometimes a little less, but you can count on it to some degree. Obviously it takes forever to aim, but once it's aimed, see, took a hit in the hull there. It's a classic M60. Shoot it in its lower plate, kind of on its sides, and it'll go down. But I'm moving forward because one of the problems is this tank isn't all that accurate, right? So if I can take accuracy out of the equation and just say every time I fire the gun, it's going to hit the target somewhere, I stand a pretty good chance. And also, we have the advantage right now, 14 to 11. That's enough to push. And this guy's on low enough health where I can definitely take at least 1 hit. Someone already got him. Take a hit from down there. Now my health is a problem. I wanted to take 1 hit, but that was significant. So I'm backing up. I'm getting into some cover. Let someone else go forward and spot him. There's 1. Shell goes in, does plenty of damage. Now I'm spotted, but I'm trying to make it difficult for them. Now there's this guy. He puts a shell. It looks like it didn't do much damage. Boom, right through the cheek of his turret. 543 damage. That's going to hurt. I'm kind of moving to make it difficult for him to hit any turret weak spots, because it looks like he can only shoot my turret. And nail him. Last bit of health. At this point, the game is pretty much wrapped up. Now, it's not always a given, but in Armored Warfare, it seems to be a given that if you get more than 3 tanks up on somebody, it's over. It's ending really quick. So a lot of times, it's kind of the early stages of the game. I have a really good replay I'm kind of saving for a different video that kind of shows that when you're down on tanks, sometimes it's better to be really aggressive and kind of push the issue, really press it so that you can have a chance. Now this Scorpion is going to be incredibly difficult for me to hit with this gun. Now he is trying to bag our artillery, but artillery are not scumbags, so we are going to try and save him. And he's going to do me a big favor. Looks like he ran into some stuff. We get to kill him. So let's get to see a little Expeditionary tank. It's a rank 6 premium. See some Starship. It's a rank 4 non-premium. And yeah, I'm enjoying Armored Warfare. It's something I'm doing well at, and something that I'm enjoying playing just because it's a different change of pace. It's a weird combination of War Thunder and World of Tanks. It's not either of them, and it's probably closer to World of Tanks, but they both have. But it has its own intricacies that is really a combination of the two. So, anyway, like I said, I'm gonna be gone this weekend. I'll be back on Sunday. And yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Corny Swiss. I'll see you next time.